Welcome, everybody. I'm really glad you're here. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Shirley Plant, and I'm a quantum nutritionist and author of Finally Food I Can Eat, Finally Paleo Food I Can Eat, and my latest ebook is called Finally Asleep, a step-by-step guide to overcoming insomnia naturally. So if you're here or you're listening to this on the recording, chances are you've been struggling with your sleep for a while. Maybe you've tried supplements, different routines, cutting caffeine, meditation, breath work, and despite doing everything, you still can't sleep the way you want to. And what I want to say first is there's nothing wrong with you. Your body is not broken. Your brain is not broken. You're just missing a couple of very important pieces. And today I'm going to help you to understand what those pieces are and how, when you address them, sleep can start to return naturally. So, why does insomnia persist? Well, one of the biggest misunderstandings about sleep is that we think sleep is something we can make happen. So we try harder, we control our routines more, we search for the right supplement, the right medication, the right breath work, the perfect tea. We go to doctors, we get a sleep lab done, we do CBT, we try hypnotherapy, we try hormone therapy, and sometimes they can help a little bit. But then most often you go back to not sleeping. And that's because, in my opinion, and many of the doctors that I've worked with, you are missing the root cause of insomnia. And as I said, that's why usually your sleep falters, even when you're doing all these other things. Because here's the truth. Sleep is not something we force. Sleep is something that happens when your body feels safe and in rhythm. It's an output. And if that output isn't happening, it's because the inputs are off. So instead of asking, why can't I sleep? We need to start asking, what signals is my body receiving? Because your body is always responding to signals. And there are two main systems that control those signals. Number one, and in my opinion, the most important, is your circadian rhythm. And number two is your nervous system. So let's talk about our circadian rhythm. We'll start with this first because to me, this is groundbreaking. This is what is going to shift your sleep issues because it really is the most important piece. It is the foundation for sleep. Your circadian rhythm. This is your body's internal clock. It tells you when to be awake and it tells you when to sleep. But here's the key. Your circadian rhythm is set by light, natural light, not by the time on a clock or your watch, not by willpower, not by how tired you feel, by light exposure at key times of the day. So when your light environment is off, your sleep will be off. So will your hormones, so will your blood sugar, so will your mood, so will your weight, so will your immune system. Because what most people do not understand is that our circadian biology dictates everything in our body. It literally dictates what every single cell does in your body and when it does it. And in today's world, this is happening pretty much to everyone. The science is showing that most, if not all, illness is a circadian derangement. So most of us are waking up and going straight to indoor lighting, or we're setting our alarm and looking at our phone first thing in the morning, or we go into the bathroom and we turn on those overhead LED lights. Well, guess what? That sends the wrong signal to your brain. That has just totally disrupted your circadian rhythm. Missing natural morning sunlight, especially at sunrise, spending most of our days inside in artificial lights or looking at them on a screen, and then exposing ourselves to bright artificial light at night. And what does that do? It completely confuses the brain. Your body literally doesn't know when morning is anymore, when evening is, or when it should produce melatonin, when it should produce cortisol, when to sleep, when to wake up, when to digest your foods, when to produce your hormones, when to detox, when to detox your brain, your glymphatic system. Like it literally doesn't know because we're not sending it the right signals. So even if you're exhausted, your body is not getting that signal to sleep. And this is where people say to me, but I feel so tired, Shirley, but I just can't fall asleep. Or, oh my gosh, I fall asleep and then I'm awake at 2, 3, 4 a.m. and I'm awake like till morning. It's not a lack of effort. It's a lack of the right signals. So I want you to hear this and just let it sink in. Insomnia is a signaling issue. So we have a master clock in our brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN for short. You don't need to remember that big long name. And this SCN literally takes direction from light, natural light. So when it gets the signals, the proper signals, it sends messages to the trillions of cells in your body to know when to wake up, when to produce cortisol, when to sleep, and when to produce more melatonin. But if you are not syncing with natural light, this starts to go off. And actually everything then starts to go off in your body. And this is why we see people that have insomnia. They often have hormonal issues. They often have weight issues. They have digestive issues. They have autoimmune issues. They have deep detox problems. They have nervous system issues. They may even have cancer. Because literally, if you study mitochondria medicine, all health issues are linked back to your mitochondria, and your mitochondria take direction from light and from your circadian biology. And when people get this, they understand why they're not feeling well and why they're anxious and they can't sleep. So when I learned this from a quantum doctor 3 years ago, literally a light bulb went off in my brain. And I totally understood why I'd gotten so ill. Because I was living mostly an indoor life. And sure, I went outside, but not at the correct times to keep my circadian rhythms in check. So once I started to follow a couple of steps every day, syncing with light at key times of the morning, especially sunrise and UVA, ultraviolet A rise. And I started to block blue light at night and during the day, especially if you are on computers all day long, I started to notice these little shifts in my body and my sleep. Now, it did not happen overnight. It did not. But I chose to stick with it because if you don't know my story, I suffered with insomnia for 35 years. And with not sleeping, I got very ill. So I developed three different illnesses. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was bedridden. I was pretty much dying 8 years ago. And I don't know what possessed me, but I started listening to online summits and I kept hearing this quantum, circadian. And I was like, okay, I'm a nutritionist. I focus on food and diet. I've done everything right. I eat right. I've gotten so sick. What's going on? And I found this doctor. And I'm so grateful that I stuck with it because I would have given up for sure. And it allowed me to get off all meds, all supplements. And that's why I've since written my ebook, Finally Asleep, and created a Facebook group, which some of you may be in, called Curing Insomnia Naturally, because I want to share this with the world. I don't want anyone suffering from insomnia. I mean, it is so lonely. It's scary. You know, my family used to say to me, oh, just take a nap. You'll be fine. And then I just stopped telling them that I wasn't sleeping because nobody got it. You know, some people are so lucky they literally go up to sleep and they're fine. And I've been sending my ebook to doctors and actually getting really good reviews, which makes me happy because I know they will now share my ebook with their patients who have insomnia. Because I went to 3 sleep labs. The first two, I didn't sleep at all. Like literally, I did not sleep a wink in the sleep lab. And I had the sleep tech said to me, I've never had anybody come to a sleep lab and not sleep. And I'm like, well, I have chronic insomnia. And then the third time I went, I took so many meds that I did sleep for, I don't know, I think 3 hours or something. And what did the doctor do? Prescribe more meds. Insomnia is not a deficiency of medications. It's a signaling problem. It's a light problem. And, you know, when I went back to my doctor and I told him, and I wanted to wait some time. So I've been sleeping naturally for 3 years. So when I wrote my book and I took it to him and I said, please read this. And he said, well, you know, my brother has suffered from insomnia for years. And he said, I've tried to help him and I can't help him. I said, well, give him this book. Like, get him into my group. And he literally phoned me 3 months later and said, my brother is sleeping, Shirley. I just can't believe this. He's like, I will share this with everybody. So I hope this is resonating and letting you know that there are solutions. There is a solution. Now, the second piece of the puzzle for many people, not everybody, but for many, is the nervous system. Because even if your circadian rhythm is off, you might sort of sleep. Like I have a client, and it was really interesting. She wasn't sleeping at all, and she decided to book a one-on-one with me. And her husband came on and he said, you know, Shirley, I sleep no problem. And, you know, you're saying that it's this. And it was really interesting because I said to him, okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I said, tell me, is there anything wrong with your health? And he said, yeah, I'm borderline diabetic. I said, that's your circadian rhythm. That's your circadian biology. I said, if you do what I'm telling your wife to do, I said, I want you to report back to me in 3 months. Get your blood work done and tell me how it changes. And he did. and he is no longer borderline diabetic anymore. Because your circadian rhythm plays a role in every aspect of your health, and it affects your nervous system. Because if your nervous system is dysregulated, sleep becomes very difficult. Because your body has two primary states: fight, flight, activated, alert, wired, which is your sympathetic, rest and digest, calm, safe, relax, that parasympathetic. And here's the problem. You can't fall asleep if you're in fight flight, right? This is how we were designed. This is how we were made. No one is going to sleep if a tiger is chasing them. And that is what your body is when your nervous system is in sympathetic or flight fight, and when your circadian biologies are so off that you're producing cortisol all night long when you're not supposed to be. We're supposed to produce cortisol early in the morning, which wakes us up. And then our cortisol is supposed to go lower, and we start to produce melatonin, which puts us to sleep. Well, when I did my saliva test years ago, my cortisol was nothing in the morning. And it would get higher and higher and higher during the day, and at night it would spike. It was the exact opposite of what it was supposed to be. So it may not be a tiger chasing you, but it could be stress. It could be this circadian disruption, and no amount of drugs is going to put you to sleep. And it's really sad for me when people come and work one-on-one with me and they say, yeah, I'm on benzos, I take synthetic melatonin, I'm on Seroquel, which I literally shudder because Seroquel is the most toxic drug to the brain. It's for schizophrenia. It's not for sleeping issues. And I'm going to say this, if your doctor has put you on Seroquel, you need to report him to the medical board because it is not a sleeping drug. And if you talk to your pharmacist, he will tell you how damaging that drug is to you. So even if you are so exhausted and you're in this fight flight, or that, I call it, people call it wired but tired. Their body is so tired, but they're wired. Their system is on high alert. And this can come, as I said, from chronic stress. It can come from health issues. It can come from an emotional overload. And it comes from a dysregulated circadian rhythm. Because as I said, if your circadian rhythms are off, you are most likely producing cortisol at the wrong time of day and night. It can even, a dysregulated nervous system can also just come from really poor sleep itself, which is what happened to me. And at that point, your body starts to associate bedtime with stress. Like I used to literally fear going to bed. I hated nighttime. I absolutely hated it. And so, Helen, I think you just joined. We've already talked about a dysregulated circadian rhythm, which is the foundation of insomnia. Insomnia is a signaling problem. So I hope you'll re-listen to the beginning of this webinar because it is the most important thing to cure your insomnia. And now we're talking about a dysregulated nervous system. Because it now doesn't become just about sleep. It's about safety. Your body is asking, is it safe to let go? And if the answer is no, you stay awake or you fall asleep and then you're like wide awake. I don't know, maybe some of you were like me and I used to wake up in the middle of the night with like a racing heart. So this is where everything starts to change because once you understand these two issues, you stop trying to fix sleep. And instead, you do two things. You reset your circadian rhythm. This has to come first because it is the foundation for your sleep and it is the foundation for your overall health. And then you regulate your nervous system. Now, I have people in the group, in the Curing Insomnia Naturally group, that all they need to do is reset their circadian rhythm and they sleep. And there's tons of testimonials in there from those people that, wow, Shirley, I followed your steps and, I'm sleeping 7 to 8 hours. I went from 2 hours a night to 8 hours a night. But then there's some that were like me that had to do some nervous system work as well. And this order really matters. Circadian rhythm needs to come first because your body needs to know when to wake up, when to wind down, and when to produce sleep hormones. And then you layer in the nervous system work so that your body feels safe enough to sleep. And when you combine these two, that's when people start to notice so many things. And even nervous system work on its own is just so helpful for the stress that we're living in these days. I mean, ever since COVID and even before, life has been stressful. There's a lot going on in the world that's really stressful. And that's when people really notice that they start to fall asleep more easily. They wake up less during the night. There's no more of those 2 a.m. wake ups. They feel more rested in the morning. And most importantly, they don't feel fear going to bed. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, this kind of sort of makes sense because if you're like me, you tried absolutely everything else. And I'm not dysregulating or um, dismissing all the other things that can help, Sure, hormone therapy can help, but did you know that your hormones are regulated by your circadian rhythm? They are. When you're out at UVA rise, you turn on every single hormone in your body and every single neurotransmitter. So if you're dealing with depression, especially winter depression and hormonal issues, you need to address your circadian biology. And lots of people do CBT, which again is great. But if your sleep-wake cycle is off, I don't care. You can do 10 months, 20 months, 4 years of CBT. I don't think it's going to shift the needle very much for you. I did hypnotherapy, I did CBT, I did everything. So, if you're thinking that this makes sense and you'd like help, I created an online program and it's called the 7-Day Circadian Sleep Reset. And it's simple steps that you follow to reset your body clock, to fix your light environment, because light plays a huge role in our life. There is so much research now. There's a doctor called Dr. Martin Moore-Eid, and he's got a group of doctors. And they've been pooling research like for the last, I think, 15, 20 years about artificial light and how detrimental it is. And so the 7-Day Circadian Sleep Reset, you get a copy of my book. It starts helping you to give your body the signals it needs so that you don't have to guess. You just follow the process. And why I wrote the book, the ebook, was because I wanted to dive into the science because there's a lot of geeks out there like me. I wanted to know, is this really going to work? Because I've tried friggin' everything. And yeah, it really does work. And how do I know that? Well, I've had so many clients. That's one. And number two, I have a condition called mast cell activation syndrome. And when I flare, literally when I flare, and mast cells, if you don't know what mast cells are, they're everywhere in your body. And when mast cells go a little bit crazy, they excrete inflammatory cytokines, over 1,000. It's really uncomfortable. It's horrible. Some people are anaphylactic. I'm very lucky I'm not. What happens for me is literally my skin burns and I feel like I'm on fire 24/7. And those inflammatory cytokines cause insomnia because of the type of inflammatory mediators that are being sent out into your body. They literally are telling your body to be fight, flight, like all the time. And I sleep because I'm on point with my circadian rhythm. I follow this process to this day because I never want to go back to not sleeping. Like never, like never. And that's not to say that you're going to have to do this forever, but once you learn what it does for your brain and your body, I think you're going to want to stick with it, but that's just me. And once you learn the science behind it. Now, you have to be consistent with the steps. I'm going to be honest about that. And you can do it if you're super busy and super tired. I work with busy moms and, everything is workable, or as we say, figure outable. And it took me months of doing these steps to finally sleep. But I was dealing with 35 years of chronic insomnia and 3 very serious illnesses. Some people see changes in days, in months. Like everybody is different. Just like, like someone that's having indigestion, they take a digestive enzyme and it works for them and it doesn't work for someone else. We're all different. But the one thing I will tell you is that this will work if you stick with it and if you are consistent with the steps. And at one point, your body will feel, if you're on meds and you're saying, and I'm going to open it up to questions so you can ask me questions. At one point, your body will be so ready, you will just get off those and taper those meds with ease. And if you choose to sign up for the 7-day sleep reset, what I do is every month I hold a live Q&A where you can come on and ask me any question. So maybe you're, trying to get up at sunrise and you're learning about how to block artificial light and you have a question. Well, every month you can come on. That's just included. And we also do some nervous exercises together once a month. I just feel it's a really healing space to be able to come on once a month and do this in a group. And you may only come on once or twice, and then you're going to be healed and sleeping. But you can still come back and do nervous system exercises with me if you want. I want people to feel welcome and that they can come back at any time. So that's why I wanted to host the live Q&A. Now, in addition to that, I also run a weekly nervous system class because there are people out there that really know that their nervous system is dysregulated and once a month isn't enough for them. And so they choose to join my weekly nervous system classes. And if you are interested in that, just email me and I can put you on the list. I have a new group starting the 4th of April. We meet once a week and you can just join once a month. Like you can just join for the month. So we would meet 4 times in the month to do nervous exercises together. So before I open it up for questions, I want to give you a couple of testimonials because I think it's important that you hear from other people and not just me. So one of the testimonials I have in my group is, "Hi, everyone. I suffered from chronic insomnia for 10 years. This started after a surgery. I literally was sleeping well one day and the next I could not sleep at all. I slipped into depression along with anxiety from not sleeping. This is a vicious way to try and live, as most of you know. I've been on about every single sleep medication and hack on the market and maybe get 2 to 4 hours of sleep, if lucky. And then the meds stop working. So what did the doctors do? Add more medicine just to get the same results. I had become very hopeless at this point, and through prayer, I was led to Shirley, and she, let me tell you, has it all, and it's been a game changer. I started out by doing the steps that she talks about in her book and in her 7-day challenge. I was out at sunrise. I would be out during the day. I loved to see the sunset, and I started to notice changes within a few days. I bought the blue blocking glasses she recommended, And within 2 weeks, OMG, the first night, I thought someone had drugged me and I hadn't taken any drugs. I was so sleepy and I started yawning for the first time in years. I was ecstatic. Since that, I have been doing what she has taught me to do, learning and resetting my circadian clock. I have been able to get off Ambien and melatonin, which is huge for me. I still have one more med that I will be weaning off in the future. And I'm so thankful for this and what Shirley has helped me with. No doctors in this journey had ever mentioned this technique with me. Why would they when they lose money? One of the 5 sleep doctors that I had said to me at one time that he knew the only way to figure out what my sleep issue was to do an autopsy. Can you believe that? It was like for real. He just said that. So guess what? He was fired. My advice to everyone is to use this technique she talks about and stay consistent and don't give up. You will start sleeping again. Praying this will help you, Stephen. And then Connie said, "You've saved my life with this program. I feel like it has been a miracle in my life after suffering for so long. I'm so grateful." Thank you, Shirley. So I'm going to open it up to questions. And then if you stick around, we're going to do some nervous system exercises. If you want to stick around, I'm happy to do that with you. Because I think it's important to share a little bit of both. So, oh, there's someone else here. So I just wanted to leave this with you before we open it up for questions. Your body already knows how to sleep. You don't need to force it. You don't need to fight it. You just need to give it the right signals. Because as I said in the very beginning of this webinar, when we started at 11, insomnia is a signaling problem. Fix the signals and you will fix your sleep. Because once it has the right environment and the sense of safety it's been missing, when
safety.
you do that, sleep comes back.
Yes.
Can you just mute, please? So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to open it up. And I'm also going to, Sarah, I'm going to mute you. And I'm also going to put in the chat the link for the 7-day reset. I also will be sending out the recording in case you want to re-listen to it. I'm just going to check the chat here. Looks like there was a question. What health issues did I have? Well, let's see. What didn't I have? Originally, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, multiple food chemical sensitivities, multiple food allergies. Then I was misdiagnosed. So I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome when in fact I had Lyme. So now I have chronic Lyme disease. And when you do not address Lyme, you can get very, very ill. Then we found mold in our house. And the doctor, because we didn't know I had chronic Lyme, put me on an antibiotic that literally landed me in bed for 8 years. And I developed mast cell activation syndrome. So those were, and what I'm dealing with. So yeah, so the link for the 7-day circadian sleep reset is in the chat. The chat's at the bottom. You just have to click on that. I will let you know that the 7-day circadian sleep reset is on sale right now, and it will be going back up to its regular price next week. So feel free to take advantage of that. So I'd love to open it up for some questions. And then again, if we want to do some nervous system exercises, we've got time. If everybody has time, we can do that. So let's see, are there any questions? If you have questions, all you can do, you can just unmute yourself. Um, Feel free to come on. Oh, everybody's being so shy. And if we don't have any questions, we can just do nervous system work. If you want to do that, again, totally up to you. And why can't I get rid of this little thing here?
I would like to do nervous system work, Shirley. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Do you have any questions, Bernice?
Yeah, I was going to give you a call later.
Okay. Oh, you gave
Okay.
me a call. I've called you back a couple of times and left a
Yes,
message.
I missed you. We had some
Okay.
medical stuff going on,
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
and I'll be in touch.
Okay,
When
perfect.
would
Okay.
be? I'll call.
I'm
I'll,
I'm
I'll
happy.
text
I'm
you.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy to do that whenever. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so no other questions? No? Okay. Okay, I'll just get you to put back on mute. Okay, so let's do a couple of nervous system exercises. Okay. So let's actually just arrive here and now. So literally nervous system work is just coming into the body. And I want you to just one hand on heart. Hopefully you can see me okay. One hand on heart, one hand on belly. And I just want you to arrive in the here and now, to just be present. And I want you to look off to the right. And this is called orienting. And this is really nice to do when you're out in nature. But let's just turn our heads to the right and find something. Can be a picture. I mean, I'm looking outside, so I'm looking at a tree. It could be a doorknob. It could be a lamp. And I want you to look at it like it's the first time you're seeing it. I want you to look at the colors and take in the colors. I want you, is there any texture to what you're looking at? Maybe if it's a plant or it's the carpet or like, is there any texture? Is there anything that you notice about it that you've never noticed before? Like maybe there's a spot on the wall that you're looking at, or, and just really take it in. And at the same time you are doing this, orienting to something in your room or outside, I want you to come into your breath. I don't need you to change it. And sometimes when we come into the breath, if you need to close your eyes to sort of concentrate, that's fine. But if you can just keep looking, where are you breathing? Is it a belly breath? Is it a chest breath? And again, no judging, no analyzing, just be. Right now, it doesn't matter. Just notice. Just notice your breath. And this is really good to just do in your day. Like maybe you do it when you're going to the bathroom. or you're at a stoplight. You just orient to something around you and you come in to the breath. Because for me, I was a chest breather. I would breathe up here. Are you a nose breather or a mouth breather? That tells you a lot too. And now you can come back to center. You don't have to look at what you're looking at anymore. You can just come back to center. But like us to do a heart math breath. Now, if you're not familiar with Heart Math Institute, it literally is this institute where they do lots of research on breath work and bringing the breath into the heart and how healing this can be for the body, for the nervous system. Now, I like to do a 5 in and 5 out breath work because that's where I'm at. But you may like to do a breathe in for 4 and out for 4. I'm going to let you do you. But what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, and hopefully you can breathe in through your diaphragm because we don't want to be chest breathing and we actually don't want to be just belly breathing. Like we want to expand our diaphragm when we breathe. But if you can't do that right now, that's okay. Just breathe. We just want to breathe. And I'm going to lead you in the beginning, and then I'm just going to ask you to do it on your own. And as I said, if 5, a breath in for 5 and a breath out for 5 doesn't work for you, maybe you will try 4. So let's just take a breath in to get synchronized. Breathe in and breathe out. And I will say, we want to breathe in through our nose and out either through our nose or through our mouth. We do not want to be mouth breathing. There is so much research to show this is a very unhealthy way to breathe. We want to be breathing through our nose. So let's start again. We'll just breathe in and breathe out. Can you mute? I'm just going to get who's here. Who's here? We have somebody. I think it's Bernice. Mute. Okay. So let's just start again. Breathe in and breathe out. So now we're going to breathe in for the count of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through the mouth for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to let you do it. We're just going to do it for another minute. In for 5. And out for 5. And if you need to put hand on chest, hand on middle to feel where you're breathing, you can do that. And thoughts may come, let them come. Come back to the breath. Breathing in for 5 and out for 5. And if you don't like having your eyes closed, you can have your eyes open. Whatever works. And out for 5. And we'll do one more. And that just sort of gives you an idea of where your breathing is at. And your breathing may be perfect or not. And now I want you to just sort of sit. And how does that feel in the body? Do you feel calmer or do you feel more activated? There's no judgment, there's no analyzing. Just feel how that feels in the body. And there are different breath patterns that we practice in the monthly Q&A. If you join the 7-day sleep reset, and we do nervous, there's different ones. And in my weekly class, we go really in depth to very different type of breath practices because there's many. And it's good to try different ones to see which one resonates for you. Because maybe that one didn't resonate for you. But maybe, we do something called the physiological sigh. Maybe that will resonate with you. Or maybe you've heard of the 4-7-8 breath or the 4-6-7 breath or the alternate nostril breath. So we practice breath work. We also practice what's called somatics, which is learning to come into the body and be with whatever is there, symptoms, not sleeping, whatever it is, and learning how to be okay with it. And one of the exercises we do is called havening. And this is where we take our arms and we start at our shoulders and we rub down to our elbows. And we can do it very softly and slowly. And we remember to breathe when we are doing this. Nice, gentle strokes. And we call this havening. And it can be shoulders down to elbows, or it can be just taking your hands and rubbing from elbows down through the hands. This is also known as havening. And again, close your eyes and try both of them. And see if either of them feels nice. Maybe you're going to feel nothing and you're going to say, Shirley, I don't feel anything. Why are you telling me to do this? Or maybe it's just a chance for you to slow down. I like to bring a gentle smile to my face as I haven. I prefer to close my eyes because to me, when I close my eyes and I haven, I can really feel my hands touching my clothes and my body. And when we smile, when we bring a gentle smile to our face, that sends a message to our nervous system that we are safe. Because we don't smile when we're being chased by a tiger, right? And so just a simple smile when we haven. You can haven down your legs, your thighs. You can do your face if that feels better. Again, this is about you and what resonates with you. And if emotions come up, that's fantastic. Let them come. You're in a safe place. Let them come and hug yourself. Yeah, let it come. You're so safe. You are so loved. Let it come. This is the nervous system releasing. Tell it it's safe to release. Hug. You can hug yourself if you don't like the havening. Just hug, squeeze if that feels better. You can rock. That's also very nourishing to the nervous system. And remember to breathe. Nice deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. So that's havening. So we did a breath practice. We did a somatic havening practice. So that's two of like hundreds, but it just gives you a little taste. Now, when I first started doing these, I found the breath work difficult. I didn't notice any change. In fact, there were some breath practices that made me more anxious. And sometimes that can happen when we start to do nervous system work or be in the body. And that's why it's really good to work with someone. And that's why if you join and sign up for the 7-day circadian sleep reset, I do this monthly call because I really think it's important. I worked with a coach. I worked with a coach weekly. I'm going to admit it. I needed help. And it was just the best thing I did. And that's why I've started my nervous system weekly classes because I feel in today's day and age, it is just so important to come into a small, and my nervous system classes are very small. They're very limited. I think I have 2 spots left for April because I want them to be small and intimate and we can work together. You can feel very held in the container so that if you need to express or if something is coming up, you're not doing it on your own. Um, yeah. So I hope this has been informative and helpful. I hope that if this resonated, you will click the link and sign up for the 7-day sleep reset. I will be sending out the recording along with the link. So, feel free if you have questions, you can email me. As I said, I also do one-on-one consults, but I always recommend people to sign up for the 7-day sleep reset because it's literally the cost of a bottle of supplements. Like I've made it nothing. I'm embarrassed to say that I paid $1,500 an hour to learn this. I'm not going to charge you that. Um, I want this accessible to the world. Like literally I do. And I hope in turn that if this helps you, which I know it will, if you are consistent and you follow the steps, that you will pass this forward and share the 7-day sleep reset or share my ebook that's on Amazon. That's literally $4. It's nothing. We need to help people to sleep. We need sleep, people. No one needs to have insomnia. Really, nobody needs to have insomnia. And I really wish I had known about this 30 years ago and I wouldn't have gotten as sick. But it's led me here to help you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time on a Saturday. I know how valuable time is. And um, I will leave it there. And again, please reach out and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.